We're live. I think. Okay, let's see if we're live on Facebook. Testing. I need a live-in tech person over here to show me how to do this video thing, because I don't know if I'm live. I do not even know if I'm live. It says I'm live on StreamYard, but I don't see it on Facebook. So let's see here. We'll put it on the page as well. All right, let's see if this works. All right, somebody comment and tell me if I'm live on Facebook. Okay, Namie says I'm live on YouTube. Can't see it on Facebook. Hi, beautiful. All right, let's see what's going on with Facebook. Says create live video. Go live. Okay, I think it's starting now on Facebook. Oh my gosh, so fancy. I think it worked. All right. Welcome. Today is July 29th. And one thing I am not overthinking today is how my hair looks. I just got back from a Jeep ride. I got my Jeep this week, and it makes me so happy. And I thought for 2 seconds that I would do my hair for you, and then I'm like, nah, I'm not going to overthink that today. And I thought for 2 seconds I might do my lipstick for you, and then I was like, nah, I'm not in the mood to overthink. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, is 4 things to stop overthinking today. And it's not your hair and your lipstick, although those are important and I like to do those. Today is not that day. So welcome to Rockstars Unplugged. Today is all about social media and the stuff that we overthink as organizers. And if we have not met, I'm Holly Sutherland. And what I do is help organizers open to a guided path, overcome the trap of perfectionism, which shows up in a lot of ways. We'll talk about that today. And operate at a higher level they never dreamed possible. So tell me where you are tuning in from as we're talking about social media today. Type in the comments. I would love to see who's here. Where are you tuning in from? What's up? Namie, how are you? Namie. So recently I released a guide that I got a lot of great feedback on that helps people organize the planning process of social media. Now, here's the thing about this. There's so many steps to go from idea to execution that we allow ourselves to get stuck in this analysis paralysis of the all or nothing thinking, and then perfectionism. Where are my words today? The perfectionism and all or nothing thinking that leads to analysis paralysis, that sometimes you just are like, I'm not going to post anything on social media. And this was me for quite a while as an organizer. It wasn't until 2019, after I'd already been in this business for 11 years, that I got comfortable showing my face on social media. Now, there was a lot of reasons for that, but really I was just insecure about how people were seeing me, what they were thinking about me. I was like, oh my gosh, my double chin. I didn't like the way I looked on camera. But one of my mentors challenged me to go live in a private group every day for 30 days. So I did. And it made a big difference because I realized that people are not thinking about me the way that I'm thinking about me. They're not paying attention to every nuance and the hair on my chin and the possible booger in my nose and the, crazy Jeep hair, don't care. They're not thinking about that at all. All that really people care about is that you're real, that they can relate to you, and that you have something cool that they can relate to and that maybe helps them a little bit. So once I got that through my head, which only came through repetition, then I could more easily show up as me. And then it really didn't matter as much whether it was Facebook, video, posting, sharing a story, sharing a photo, sharing a project, because I had lost the energy of caring what other people thought of me once I did that 30 days consistently. So if you haven't done that, I would encourage you to do that. And I do have a guide for you at the end. If the virtual thing freaks you out a little bit, but you're interested, but you're kind of scared, I have a gift for you at the end. It's something that's coming up soon. You get a free guide and an invitation to this masterclass. I'll tell you more about that. And it's for those people who feel a little nervous. So type nervous if you ever feel nervous on social media. You're like, what do I say? What do I wear? What are people thinking? All those things. So today I want to talk about 4 main things to stop overthinking about social media. And it might not be what you think, but these are the things that, as I did a survey recently with a lot of organizers, these are the things that they confessed to me, and I put them into categories, as any good organizer would. Put them into categories of what are the 4 problems and objections that organizers have that spin around in their head that keep them from putting themselves out there in the first place. Because honestly, that's the biggest hurdle. And then once you can get past that hurdle, then it doesn't really matter completely what you post, because once you get over these things, then you're going to be able to more easily test and try things and not get attached to the outcome of things. You're just going to be able to look at the data and say, well, did that work? Did that not work? Did that get engagement? Did that not get engagement? But when you're all up in your head about all this stuff and you're overthinking, then it keeps you from being consistent to put yourself out there. And guess what? If you put something out there and you got a booger in your nose, then you can delete it later, or you can even put a red circle around it and be like, ha ha, I had a booger in my nose that day. Joke's on me. People love that stuff. So I want to encourage you, that it is safe to show up as you are, as yourself. You don't have to pretend to be this perfectly organized person. Sometimes organizers say, well, my house is not even social media worthy. Like, I don't even feel like I have anything I can post pictures of. Well, nobody really cares. Like, just post a picture of your pencil drawer. Post a picture of something that's happy for you. But when you get in this energy that feels like you're not good enough, that's what you're going to be portraying. And so then people are not really going to pay attention anyway. So just get in the energy of feeling good. Put yourself out there when you're feeling good. And who knows what could happen? Just be consistent with it. A couple times a week is really all you need to post, 2 or 3 times a week. You don't have to be perfect about it. That's one of the things that one of my members said this morning in Team Building Blueprint. We talk about our wins and the things that are going well. And she was like, I've been consistent with social media. I'm not overthinking it. I'm not trying to be perfect about it. She goes, I don't have to get this perfect template and this perfect Canva color and blah, 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 blah. She goes, I just posted. I was like, way to go, Laura. Way to go. So this is the number 1 thing to stop overthinking. I'm not sure how to do this right. How do I do this right? I'm not sure how to do this right. Oh, I think I'll just give up and go take a nap. This is something that organizers overthink, and I'm going to tell you how this sounds. So I recently put together a guide on social media, and let me see if I can pull it up here on my screen without losing my place talking to you all. I'm going to pull it up in a separate window here. So here's what this sounds like when somebody says, I'm not sure how to do this right. I overthink how regularly and how consistently I need to post. So they feel like they've got these rules in their head. Now, who gave them these rules? I don't know. But that's this invisible rule that they got to be this regular and this consistent. And they just overthink it and think they're not doing it right, so they don't do anything at all. Another way that it sounds is that somebody's asking or saying that creating a post that will get my message across is how they overthink. And they're asking, will it create engagement as well? Do I post a story? Do I post a post, a reel, all 3, one of the 2? Another rock star says scheduling and planning are huge stops for me. Scheduling and planning are huge stops. So she got all the way up to the idea and then creating it, but then scheduling it and putting it out there. She's like, oh, hard stop. Something's in my way. Can't keep going. Someone else says, I get hung up on the post content, such as what to say that people would read or want to save it. So now you're thinking, you're trying to get in their heads. Would they want to read this? Would they want to save this? Instead of just posting something and trying and see what happens, they get caught up in that thinking. So really it comes down to when and what to post, and understanding the algorithm is what they're worried about so that the post shows to the people in the right area. And finding that balance between being helpful, generating leads, just being social, that whole thing. Another rock star says, I know I have to market and advertise this way, but I find it extremely frustrating to the point of paralyzing. And I understand. Because there's so many options and you want to do it the right way. And that's what this whole thing is about, is I'm not sure how to do this right. And I want to encourage you that there's more than one right way. The right way is simply being yourself. And if you like long form video content like I do, well, then show up with long form video content. If you have no time or peace to show up with kids screaming in the background, then schedule your Instagram in advance for 3 times that week. But just whatever you do, be consistent. And that's what's going to attract the attention of the people who are following you. So that's the number one thing. Number two, will my content be good enough? Will my content be good enough? So here's how this sounds. I often work in basements in clients' homes who are not Architectural Digest ready, and I feel that my current and future clients will judge me by that post. So she's like, I don't think my pictures are going to be good enough. Like, are these social media worthy? Somebody else says it feels like you have to keep up with the Joneses on social media. Another one says, most of my clients' homes are not glamorous. And the reality is for them that they're dealing with their mental health and ADHD, and they prioritize the functionality over the aesthetics. So they want it to work more than they want it to look pretty. Therefore, I feel like my work isn't Instagram worthy and I struggle to find ideas to post. Okay, well, here's something I want to say about this, because I myself, for 17 years, was a functional organizer. Now, I can make things look nice. I can make things look really nice. And I liked doing that. But a whole ton of products and like overhauling the whole design of everything and doing all the specific measurements and all this, no, not my jam. Not my jam at all. Although I could organize a mean pantry and a mean kitchen. I mean, let's be honest, I was really good at the kitchen and the pantry. But I did not want to do that whole aesthetic organizing. Well, the disconnect is that I felt my Instagram had to portray for a while. I can totally relate to this organizer over here. I felt it had to portray this like aesthetically beautiful thing, like glamorous Instagram. But in reality, that's not even the clients I was trying to attract. That was not even the people I liked really working with. So do you see how I was not in alignment with myself? And I was just using it as a reason to hide and not post and not show stuff, because I was trying to be a perfectionist about it. I didn't think it was Instagram worthy. And that's what some of these people are saying. Is it social media worthy? Well, guess what? It's social media worthy if you post it on social media. Like there's no law of social media worthiness. It's like, is it you? Does it express yourself and your client and your business? Well, like post it, see what happens. But you don't have to overthink whether it's going to be good enough and social media worthy. And this person says, sometimes I second guess myself about posting to certain Facebook groups if my content doesn't look high end enough. And they're simply asking, is it interesting enough? So that's the number 2 thing to stop overthinking. Tell me if you can relate to that. Type social media worthy in the chat if you can relate to, is my stuff social media worthy? Let's see here. Can I see comments? There we go. I can see comments now. Is it social media worthy? Okay, the third thing that people overthink, and by people, I'm talking about myself. This is exactly the thing that I overthink, is I don't want to do all of this. I just want to hire somebody to do this for me. Now, there's certain aspects I do like, but all the planning and the posting and all this kind of stuff, I would rather show up live, have these live streams with you weekly, and then hire a team to do the rest of the stuff. And that's my strategy right now, than to do individual posts every day where I have to sit and come up with something. So it's really true in some way and not true in another way when you overthink it like this. So here's how it can sound. Somebody says, I constantly compare myself and my content to other creators. I feel like I need to be doing the content versus hiring someone because the business does not have the money to support it. So they feel instinctively like I got to be the one doing this versus hiring somebody. But that's coming from this idea that I really don't want to do all this. But look where it came from. I constantly compare myself. So it's kind of a hiding mechanism, if you see what I'm saying. It's like I'm hiding from showing up and doing the work and being consistent. Now, sometimes that's true. And sometimes it's that you're hiding from the work of showing up and creating a process for someone else to follow and be consistent because you're afraid that process that you create is not going to be good enough. And that's the trap that I have found myself in, is I'll get 60 or 80% of the way and I'll get kind of as far as I know how to on a process. And then I just want somebody to take over and do the fine-tuning details. I'm really good at the beginning stages of creating a process. Sometimes I fizzle towards the end because I'm losing a couple of details. And that can be the very thing that stops me from posting, even though I had all these amazing ideas, right? I've got documents of ideas and old posts that I could repurpose, but it's that final leg of finishing tenaciously that can stop me sometimes. And so somebody else says, I don't have the mental capacity. Maybe that's you. You're like, I have 2 or 3 kids at home. They're under the age of 5. They want to be fed 3 times a day. Can you believe it? I do not have the mental capacity to sit and think up a post, go into Canva, find a template, put the colors on it. Did you ever see that Bon Qui King Burger on Mad TV? I never even watched Mad TV, but I saw the YouTube video. Look up King Burger by Bon Qui on Mad TV. She talks about going in King Burger, kind of like Burger King, where they do it your way, but don't get crazy. She orders a milkshake, and a guy comes up to the thing and orders a milkshake, and Bon Qui behind the counter, she goes, this person orders all these things with a cookies and cream milkshake, and she goes, dang, anything else? And she goes about the milkshake, because this is what goes through my head. This is tired Holly talking right now. She goes, I've been up since 2 a.m. this morning. I could not sleep last night. But she goes, we got to get that milkshake machine. We got to put them cookies all up in it. We got to get the ice cream and shake it around. That's complicated. No, you can have a Coke. We got a complicated order. No, you can have a Coke. That's too complicated. And that's how we feel about social media sometimes. This is so complicated. So many steps. We got to get the milkshake. We got to get the ice cream out. We got to get the cookies out. We got to mix it all up with them, cooks all up in it. No, you can have a Coke. I do not have the mental capacity for this. I don't want to do all this, right? Somebody else says, I've invested so much time and money in growing my business, but in the down times, it feels like I'm barely afloat. I don't know if I can afford to hire someone. They're like, I've done all this. I want to hire somebody. I don't even know if I can afford to hire somebody. Somebody else says, I hate social media. Okay, there's an honest answer. And I don't like capturing content or speaking on camera. I don't have the mental capacity to come up with ideas and see it all the way through to posting things. Even when I have ideas, actually recording, editing, creating captions, and getting things posted doesn't have. That sentence doesn't make sense. I don't know what that was. I'll go back and fix that later. Somebody else says, the process gets too long and I get overwhelmed and stuck. So this is where it really comes in handy to break it down into 4 steps. And this is what my social media guide comes in handy for. So if you don't have it already, it's free. You can grab it at socialmediaorganizer.com. It breaks it into 4 segments. And that's what I'm reading from right now is these 4 things that people overthink. It breaks it into 4 segments and 4 phases. Now, The ideation phase is the part that most people love. But some other organizers don't like it. They're like, I don't have time to come up with ideas. Ideas is not my thing. Now, ideas is my thing. I can come up with ideas all day long. Other organizers like the creation phase. And then some like the implementation phase. They're like, okay, well, somebody else could do it. I could post it. But a lot of people miss the first phase. I'm going to let you get the guide to figure out what that first phase is. It's the most important one, but it's the thing that most people miss. So here's the fourth one. Will I be seen as good enough? This is what organizers overthink. Now, they might not even say it in these words, but this is how it sounds. It's scary as hell to commit to showing up on social media. I feel that my current and future clients will judge me. I have this fear of judgment and wanting to be likable and charismatic. Those are some barriers as well. My natural inclination is to start spinning and doubting myself. I worry that I don't post enough and that my lack of consistency looks unprofessional, or wishy-washy. And then I worry about what to post and it starts all over again. It's like this cycle, right? Somebody else says, social media is not working for me due to a holdup on fear. I need to sit down for a few days or a week to churn out the content, schedule it for the month, and let it ride. That's kind of my fantasy too, to be honest. I need to let go of external validation and look within. I need to value myself so that others value me. Those are some true words, sister. And so what happens with this thing that they overthink, which is, will I be seen as good enough, is they get paralyzed and do no social media. So those are the 4 things to stop overthinking about social media, which is, I'm not sure how to do this right. Will my content be good enough? I don't want to do all this. And will I be seen as good enough? So I'm curious, which one of these you resonate with? Which one of these do you resonate with? Is it number 1 of like, I want to do this right, but I'm not sure how? Is it number 2 of like, is my stuff going to be Instagram worthy? Is this actually going to look good? I'm kind of afraid it's not going to be good enough. Is it number 3, which is, I don't want to do all this. I just want to hire somebody else to do it. Or is it, will I be seen as good enough? If you're really honest with yourself, it's not just will my content be seen as good enough, but ultimately, will I be seen as good enough? And that was what stopped me for a long time, was this one right here. Now I don't really care. I don't have this nagging feeling of not feeling good enough anymore. I know I'm good enough. I know I'm the best at what I do. I know that people are seriously blessed to work with me. And I know that I make mistakes, and that's okay. But when you're not okay with yourself, you're going to shine through with that on social media. So the best thing you can do is to get okay with yourself. Forgive yourself. You know, if you've done some stuff in the past that you're afraid of being found out, then ask yourself, well, what am I really afraid would happen if I was found out? Is there somebody I could actually just go to and talk to and just confess it and say it out loud so I don't feel like I'm keeping this secret anymore? Is there somebody in my life to forgive? And then I don't feel like I've got this angst or this thing to hide as if they're going to come find me, you know? And this is really the stuff, like, especially ex-husbands. I hear this from a lot of organizers. Ex-husbands. Like, I don't want my ex to find me. Not just safety-wise, but like they don't want them to see what they're about. And it's a thing. Like, I hear you. It's a thing. And sometimes you just want to stay in your little shell. And you just want to stay hidden and you want to stay covert. But then when you really ask your heart, like what kind of impact you want to have, then sometimes you're going to find the courage to put yourself out there in a new way. And putting yourself out there in a new way is scary sometimes. It's definitely scary for me. I remember this time when I was trying to create my first course back in 2018. And I was in my office down in Waco, Texas. I had this cute little office. I had gone to all these links to like hire somebody to help me, set up my camera, set up my bookshelves behind me. It was so perfect. I was like tweaking all of it. I was like getting the lighting just right. And it came time to record and I just could not get the words out in camera. And then I would say it and then I would overthink it and then I would watch it and I would look at my double chin and I'd be like, oh my gosh, Holly. So I just remember laying face down on the cold tile floor in that office. I'm like, I just cannot keep going. I was so afraid of putting myself out there. I didn't yet know and feel convicted that I had what it took. And a lot of times these days I talk with organizers, and one of the things that we say is, you have what it takes. You're the woman for the job, and more people simply need to know about you. And that's the truth. It's the visibility creed. Like, I have what it takes. I'm the woman for the job, and more people simply need to know about me. And when you embody those things in that visibility creed of the rock stars, you show up differently. You don't care so much about what your hair looks like. You might even show up intentionally without makeup on in the morning. Oh my gosh, can you believe that? If it's before 10 a.m., I typically don't have makeup on. I do my makeup at about 10:30. So if I get an idea and I want to go live before that, guess what you're going to see? Patchy eyebrows, a little bit of bedhead, definitely no lipstick. Don't look like I have any eyelashes in the morning. I do have eyelashes, but before 10 a.m., they kind of look invisible because I'm fair-skinned and lightheaded. Little eyelash curler helps. But people just want to connect with real people. That's the truth. It really doesn't matter if your stuff is Instagram worthy. It doesn't matter if your stuff is perfectly lit. All that people really care is, does my stuff look like that stuff? Could she help me? Could she come into my house and not judge me? And sometimes when it is too Instagram perfect and all your photos are maybe filtered and touched up. I'm not saying that there's not a place for professional photos, because there is. There's this one organizer I follow, and her stuff looks so AI. And I'm like, you don't even look like a real person. Like, I would never hire you. Nothing wrong with AI per se, except when it makes you look fake. People don't really want to connect with somebody who's fake, right? They want to connect with somebody who understands what they're struggling with and is maybe just a few steps ahead of them. And so they can reach back a hand and say, hey, here's the way. Let me show you the way, and be a guide to help them. So what they're really craving is the real you. It's acceptance from the real you. They're not looking for what you think they're looking for, So then if you put yourself in their shoes and you're like, okay, I'm going to put myself in the shoes of a 38-year-old busy professional in Ann Arbor, Michigan, who's got 2 kids, and they got a hot mess of a basement. What would they feel comforted and inspired and motivated to come across on your Instagram page? It might be different than you think. So just put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself in their shoes. All right, so I told you I had a gift for you, and then we'll wrap up here. So my gift for you is the Virtual Organizer Masterclass. Social media is a huge part of going online with your business. So have you ever considered going online with your business as an organizer? Whether it is something like creating a course, running a challenge, starting a Facebook group, being a coach, going full into the full-time virtual coaching world, which I did full-time in March of 2022. It's a process. And I've learned a lot. I've spent a lot of time. I've spent a lot of money figuring this stuff out. I'm still learning and figuring some stuff out. And I'm here to help you. I'm here to show you the way. So over the next few weeks there's actually a couple things that you can do. On Sunday nights, we're having brainstorming calls for the next 2 weeks, where you just come, talk about your course idea, collaborate with a few others in breakout rooms, talk about some of the things that you've done, that you plan to do, that you want to do. But we also have a virtual organizer masterclass that's coming up. There's actually 3 options of those as well. I'm looking for all kinds of opportunities to connect with y'all. I want to find the people who really want to build something online with your business. Maybe you're getting to that point where you're feeling kind of tired 2 or 3 years in, like you've had a successful business. You might even have a successful team who can handle things, but you're realizing, you know what, I really don't want to go to clients' homes more than 2 days a week. And if I'm honest, even less than that, but I want to make the money. The money's nice. I can send somebody else on the job. Maybe you're already making good money doing this, and you simply want to explore and go into that next level of like, well, what kind of other thing could I create? Maybe it's even for other organizers. I hear this a lot. Obviously, that's where I was several years ago. Now I do this full time for you guys, with you guys. Or maybe it's something like, I know that there's some way to leverage social media and the whole virtual online world to build my in-person business. You don't really have intentions of leaving, and maybe you're even just getting started and you're trying to get more attention. This is for you as well. Those are two different paths. One is like, I want to go full hog into this thing. And the other one's like, I know I can be putting myself out there better on social media. So that's what these masterclasses are for. So here's where to sign up. It's free. rockstarorganizers.com/VOM. VOM stands for Virtual Organizer Masterclass. So jot that down or take a screenshot. Did you get a screenshot while I was smiling? Or if you just want to type more, I'll make sure to look at the comments and send you a DM if you want me to reach out in DMs with the direct masterclass link. So that's coming up August 6th, 10th, and 14th, 2 o'clock Eastern. You can come to any one of those. They're all going to be the same. And that is the Virtual Organizer Masterclass at rockstarorganizers.com/VOM. All right. So this was 4 things to stop overthinking today about posting on social media. Not sure how to do this right. Will my content be good enough? I don't want to do all this. Will I be seen as good enough? And how does my hair look? That's the 5th thing to stop overthinking. You know, when people get online and they just start doing this to their hair. All right, y'all have an amazing day. I couldn't see your comments today. I could just see a couple of the YouTube ones, so I'll have to check the comments later. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Toodles.